to my channel. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be furnishing an apartment for my last build that I uploaded. The last build I uploaded was a farmer's market and then a cross-stitch cafe. So it was kind of like a multi-purpose lot in that way. However, I forgot to place an apartment, or I did not really furnish an apartment for my sim. So with I was going to say small businesses and hobbies, but with businesses and hobbies, for other people or other sims to be able to visit the lot as a business or as the small business, you need to have a sim living at that small business. That's the only way it has ever worked for me. I don't know if it's not supposed to work that way and they should just be allowed to visit even if a sim is not living there, but that's the only way that I've been able to make it work for a different sim. So today I'm furnishing an apartment for her because she basically had nowhere to stay on the lot, and I thought I'd record it and then upload it. I also mentioned in that video that I was going to separate out the two business spaces because when I was playtesting the lot, I found that the farmers market section worked a lot better as a retail store than it did in whilst incorporating it into a small business venue with the cross-stitch cafe. I just felt like the sims weren't really paying that much attention to the farmers market as I would have liked them to. I did test out a few things after my last video, but before I get into that, please don't forget to like and also subscribe if you do enjoy my content and you would like to see more. And yeah, so what I'm currently doing in the apartment, for the apartment I'm going with like a cottagecore aesthetic. I really like the green and dark green colors that comes with the cottage living pack, and I'm really trying to prioritize the cottage living objects that we got. So you'll see that I am kind of filtered by it for some parts of this video. So that's what I'm doing for the apartment. I just wanted to lay that premise before I continue with my other thoughts. But I did playtest the lot again after I uploaded that video because I wanted to see if there was any way to kind of rig the businesses and hobby system so that they would go and pay more attention basically to the farmers market. So what I did was I removed the entrance kiosk and then I only set the business activities as browse and buy, and then be friendly I think was the other one, and that seemed to work because more sims, even though it was not an activity, they were still drinking coffee from the coffee station or from the barista stand because I did have an employee assigned to it. And even though they were still drinking that, the coffee from there, I made a lot more sales from the farmers market. So I felt like that worked better, but my sim did not make a profit because I removed the entrance kiosk. I think sometimes the entrance kiosk can limit the amount of sims that show up at the small business venue. I think sims are more likely to come into the small business if there's not an entrance kiosk. So that's the only kind of trade-off with that. And so yes, I do think that it works by having both on it, but I just do think that the farmers market is better as a retail space. And with the retail from Get to Work, you cannot live on that lot or like have any other businesses on that lot. So it makes sense to then just set the farmers market as a retail space. And luckily also you wouldn't then need an apartment on the farmers market lot or whatever, because you don't need a sim to live there for it to actually run if you're not playing with the sim who owns it. It's just this, that another sim needs to own that lot for you then to be able to come with another sim and visit the lot. I hope I'm making sense. But yes, you would have seen that I finished the kitchen area. It's a really tiny kitchen. This is a very tiny apartment. And if you move this, which at the end actually I'm going to separate out the lot, so I will be showing you the process of how I plan on doing that, or how I did it basically, because I did it already. And when I did separate out the lots, there was quite a lot of space around the cafe lot, so you could actually just like expand it if you wanted to add more rooms to the apartment or whatever. I do think that for this cross-stitching cafe to make sense, it should operate as a small business venue, and because of that I wanted to complete the cafe's apartment first before I separated out the lots, because you would need to have a sim stay on the small business venue or on the cross-stitch cafe lot for other sims to be able to visit the lot as a small business. Yes, so that's what I'm first going to do. I'm first going to finish up the apartment, decorate the apartment, and then afterwards I will show you how I'm separating the lots from one another to basically make 2 lots out of one. For the living room, you're going to see the living room is going to change quite a bit. I was going to go with that table from Paranormal Stuff, but it didn't come in the colors that I was going for with the inside. You can kind of see that I'm leaning towards, like I said, that green and dark green colors in the living room area. So I changed out that table for this one from Enchanted by Nature, because with Cottagecore, I feel like it mixes elements of like these plaid colors, the natural woods, and so on. So I wanted to bring that in. I was going to use this couch from Growing Together, but for me it's shaped so weirdly. It looks so slender. So instead I went for this one from the Book Nook kit. I wanted a cozier couch, and I hope that soon we will get more couches that look like this, that are decorated in this way. And also I hope that one day we will get a blanket accessory. If you play with CC, you'll know that a lot of CC creators create like a separate blanket accessory, I guess you can call it, for the couches that you can place wherever you want really to place it. And they usually come in a lot of swatches and stuff, so I hope that in future we will get something like that. And then the fireplace back there, you can see I just placed some plants on it. That fireplace is also from Cottage Living. And then I'm also going to change out the current console table that I have there for one from, I think it's Life and Death or a base game one. I can't quite remember which one, but yes, I really wanted to chat about how everyone is feeling about the new early access content that's coming out on Adventure Awaits. I'm not gonna lie, I am so excited that I actually pre-ordered the pack, which I would never recommend. I think every pack should be bought on sale, but I am just so excited to try this pack out with one of my previous builds that I think I will make a video out of. Now, having seen how the whole schedule getaway system works, I think it may be possible to create like a boarding school academy thingy, which I've seen a lot of videos on that already. So I'm hoping that I can kind of use that system to run something or to run a build that I've built in the past, but I'll keep which build it is for when I eventually make that video. The next video that I'm gonna do is hopefully a tool mod video, because someone did request that in my last video, that I explained like how I use a tool mod in my game. So I'm gonna try my best to do that, because I know that before I used to watch so many videos about the tool mod, but I was so intimidated to use it. And then when I eventually, gained my confidence to use the tool mod, I feel like it has forever changed my building style. And I cannot like open my game without my tool mod. So if I had to make a list of all the mods that I, can't really play my game without, that would be probably number one on my list. So I will be making that video hopefully soon and uploading that, and then after that it will obviously be Adventure Awaits content. So I am still thinking about what I want to do for Adventure Awaits. Usually I will build with the base game and then only the pack for the first video that I put out on a pack. But I've been looking at the objects for Adventure Awaits, and I think this is maybe like one of the first packs in a while that I'm getting not for the build mode stuff. I'm getting it for the functions and also the gameplay elements of the pack, because the build mode is not really appealing to me. Honestly, I don't see a lot that I like in the build mode, and I also think it's not very build mode heavy, because I think there's a lot of gameplay in this pack from what I've seen and heard. So yeah, I'll have a look at the items, but from the videos that I've watched so far, the items are not looking too great. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I am in the bathroom now. This bathroom was very slender, so I did try and fit in as much as I possibly could. I was going to only have a shower, but I wanted her to have a bath as well. And so I went with this older looking one from vampires. And then the sink, I think that one is from high school years. I really do love using that small shelf from Horse Ranch. It's in the accent category or the accent tables category, and I will place it, or I've placed it in so many of my bathrooms, because one, it has so many slots on it for shelving, and for it being that small of a shelf. And also I just like the textures of Horse Ranch. Horse Ranch really did come with a collection that is very cohesive when it comes to dresses, shelves, and counters. Like they all come in the same swatches, which I can really appreciate it, because sometimes I'll find that they give us something and then it looks like another thing will match it, but then it doesn't match it in swatches. I actually encountered that in this video, but I can't remember what it was exactly that matched, that looked like they matched, but the swatches didn't match. So anyways, and now I've moved on to the bedroom. The bedroom was a lot smaller than I hoped it would be. I was going to make the bedroom like open so that this was a studio apartment kind of situation, but I decided against that and I closed it up. But that means that the bed is kind of against the wall, which is not a does not cause any difficulty for the Sims, because they can actually scoot over, so she can have a partner or whatever. The Sim that I currently have owning this lot is very much into natural living and stuff, and yes, she didn't need an apartment for that, but I do intend on changing a trait so that it's not natural living, but something that is kind of that would fit the aesthetic of this apartment, you know. And I don't really play with her, I only test with her, so I didn't really kind of build the apartment to suit her necessarily. I built it to suit, or necessarily, but I built it to suit the rest of the lot. And then also I really wanted to furnish the apartment with the cottage living things, which is kind of a cottagecore aesthetic, so I wanted to keep within that. And then on top of it, I've seen a lot of inspiration for these kind of bedrooms, and also just to create a cozier vibe. They place shelves like that above the bed, and then they'll usually have a hanging plant, and then these little twinkle fairy lights. Those ones are from Enchanted by Nature, so I use that. And then I really like the blue swatch of the couch in the living room. Now, it's a little bit light for the rest of the objects in that living room space, but I did not care. I know, I think at the end I'm going to change it back to the beige swatch, but I do eventually go back to that blue swatch because I like it. If you look closely, it's actually like a striped pattern on the couch, and I was hoping that there was a darker swatch, but that was the only one, so I kept it that way anyways. And yes, that is all for the apartment section of this video. So now we're moving into me separating out the lot. So firstly, I tried by moving the entire one section of the lot, and the game crashed. Like it did not respond well to that. So what I did first was I only moved, so there's two options that you can choose when it comes to moving a lot. You can choose to move the entire lot, or you can choose to move like a structure on the lot. So the first thing that I did was I moved the cafe as a structure, and then I moved the entire lot so that anything or any remnants of the cafe that was still on the lot, I moved it off the lot, and then I rotated the lot so that this farmer's market was obviously facing forward. And then now I'm just gonna correct the outside or the surrounding areas of the farmers market. I didn't want to upload it just like that. That was like, it's not my kind of thing to upload the lot like that incomplete onto the gallery, so I wanted to make it nice around and also make it fit the farmers market, because right now the tables and the chairs that I placed under there, that was more so for the cafe, so it doesn't really fit, I think, with the farmers market. So I'm going to change that out for the red one that you see at the back. And this one is from Get Together. The one that I previously had there was from Cottage Living, and the chairs I think are from Businesses and Hobbies, but I'm changing it out for this one. And then the just a normal base game chair. The tree with the lights on, that lights actually attach, like fitting really nicely to the tree. That is from Cottage Living Live Edit objects, I think. Just use those trees in the front, and then I'm going to keep them also in front of the cafe because I really do like the fairy lights. And then here I'm adding more fairy lights to the front, and those are the ones from businesses and hobbies. I really wanted to add a vendor stall as well. I did not play test if Sims will actually pay attention to this vendor just yet, so maybe if I do, I will add a comment to the video about whether they responded to the vendor. If for example, the owner hires a vendor, if they will go and use it, because initially when the lot was both the cafe and the retail or the farmers market, I ran it as a retail lot, and I had the owner of the retail lot hire a sim to manage the bistro stand, and Sims didn't really care for it. They did not go in there, they did not purchase coffee while the retail lot was open. So I will see if it works with this the vendor stand instead. Yeah, I need to slow down. But I'm excited about the way that the builds turned out separately as well, because I wasn't sure if they were going to work out nicely. But luckily I kind of built them in a way where they weren't too, like, you could have the one without the other, so that was nice. It made the separation process a lot easier. And then I just added extra milk bottles, and then the milk can at the back as well. Just one thing about those milks, if you do download this from the gallery, you will need to refill the milk. All you need to do is press shift click on them and then refill, and it will refill the milk, and they will sell like nobody's business. In fact, they sell a lot more than anything else in the store. And then here I am separating out the cafe a lot. Now I decided to move the cafe to a lot that is just across from the farmers market, so actually Sims will then be able to go to the farmers market and walk right across. Yes, now there will be a loading screen in between the two lots, but it's still so close to one another that I feel like the loading screen will be a fine something that's okay for me to kind of be with, I guess, if they move in between the two lots. And then I was trying to find a brick that matched the brick that's leading up to the lot. However, something that I do hate about Sims 4 World sometimes is that they will do these kind of things with this paving or these paths leading up to a lot or whatever, but they won't give us the stone to continue the path or the paving, and it just can be so annoying. So I've tried to find the one that fit the best with that paving that was already there, and that one is from Get Together. And then I just went around this lot again, just trying to clean it up, make it look like it was a standalone lot. I used these festive hedges, which are from the base game. We got it in a base game update. It's my favorite hedge to use because it has little twinkle lights in them. And then I also decided to place down a fence here so that it kind of had some separation from the cafe, because this is the stairs that are leading up to the apartment. And you would have also seen on the grocery store lot, on the farmers market lot, there's also a second floor there that I did not use, but because I intend to use that as a retail space, I didn't really see the need to decorate that apartment. But if you want to use it as a small business and a small business venue, I keep on saying the PAX name instead, but if you want to use it as a small business venue, you can always add an apartment there as well. It does work as a small business venue, but I think it would work even better now that the distraction of the cafe has been removed. I don't feel like the Sims respond well if there is a lot of things for them to do. Well, I feel like the Sims do not respond well if there's a lot of things for them to do on the lot, and I think maybe there was just too many things for them to browse and buy on the lot that they just kind of stayed in the cafe. So yeah, and there you can see I added a taller fence from the base game. But that is all for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of everything really, but let me know what you think down below. And if you would like to download this build, you can find it under SimWithMishka or hashtag SimWithMishka on the gallery, whether it is the farmers market, the cafe, and the apartment, or only the farmers market or the cafe. You can find that on the gallery. And yeah, If you would like to see more, please don't forget to like this video as it does help my content, and also subscribe if you would like to see more of my videos and be along for the journey. I thank you so much for being here, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.